Hello YouTube, it's Aaron. I'm back from Drift Week. Fielding and I, who's holding the camera right now because Sai is not here to help out, just got back from Drift Week. So what did we do, Fielding?
We had a blast, and then we went to Hallett.
Another racing circuit.
Yeah, another drift event.
So we finished, so we did 2 weeks of drifting. We had a fantastic time, went drifting again, and now we're back to do Fielding's interview because we haven't done it yet. And I need you guys to tell me something. What does my What Monsters Do sweatshirt say? In Japan, some people commented, and I think I know what it says, but would you please tell me? Okay, anyways, out of the way.
I can also read the back.
Yeah, that's easy. Thank you to them for sponsoring all the Japan content. If you watch our channel, you already know about that. So go to whatmonstersdo.com. Ebisu is the 20% discount code. Thank you so much, What Monsters Do. Okay, let's get to this. You get in front of the camera.
Oh,
I'm gonna ask you questions.
No cuts or anything, just pass.
No,
out.
yeah, we just go.
Perfect.
It's easy. Okay.
Can I lean against your car, Aaron?
Yeah, you're not gonna hurt it. Okay.
All right.
How'd Drift Week go?
Drift Week was insane. It was amazing. It was fun. It was stressful. It was expensive. It was all the things that we learned from Drift Week 1 and amplified on Drift Week 2.
So you loved it?
I loved it. I did. Yeah. My car was more reliable this year. I had probably more laps and easily as much fun as the first time.
Okay. What was the highlight?
Oh man, the highlight.
Doing street pulls and racing people on the highway?
Yeah, actually that was really fun. I didn't get to do that last time. But I think honestly the highlight was being able to go to NOLA and drive 2 days, as many laps as we did, and not break anything. That was insanely fun for me. And I mean, the Freedom Factory drifting a bank was another big highlight because I've never actually drifted a bank. Mm-hmm. So doing that on such a big venue, big stage was really, really cool. And not crashing there was also nice.
Was the car reliable?
The car was the most reliable it's been. I broke 3 axles, I bent a suspension arm, and I had a water pump start weeping or leaking out of the weep hole. Mm-hmm. And I went ahead and replaced it just to be extra safe, but I could have probably just limped it along with that and just checked it.
And that was like 7 or 8 days on track and thousands of miles of street driving.
It was.
And axles were the biggest thing. Well,
right.
You know what to work on next time, axles.
And I'm running stock S14 axles, so I definitely could fix that.
The car keeps getting so dialed over time. A lot of people like Wout were saying, oh, cars get worn out. The cars get better sometimes.
Yeah.
Like it is worn out in some ways, but it keeps getting better and better and better. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a cool concept.
It is. It's kind of a mix. Like my steering rack I feel is starting to wear out, but the electronics and all the things that I updated and all the little, fixes along the way are now perfectly reliable and work forever.
What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about, there was this amazing subject that here, let me point camera at myself for a second. There was this amazing subject that when we were in Japan did you go to the last trip with us?
I think so.
You might have missed it. Were you there with Dion? Anyways,
no, I wasn't.
We made this amazing podcast. That was a video podcast. We set a camera up at the end of the table, and I thought it was fantastic. And Dion didn't like it because he was drunk and said a bunch of things, so I had to take it down. So if you saw it, it was really cool.
Okay.
Everybody was at the table. Everyone was drunk. Chandler was barfing in the background, and you could hear him. It was really funny. But one of the points of it was why haven't we all quit drifting yet? Drifting is abusive to us.
Yeah.
It's difficult. We're getting older. We're getting tireder. We're getting all these different things. Like, why do we keep doing this?
I mean, drifting is my drug.
It's abusive.
It's my drug of choice. It's the most fun thing that I've found to do. I've jumped out of an airplane. Skydiving was kind of boring. Roller coasters don't do it for me. I mean, I don't have the means to go fly jet aircraft or fighter jets like I would love to. And so drifting is it, and road racing even, like I haven't done a lot of it, but the little bits I've had experience in were fun and cool and whatever, but they didn't get my rocks off like drifting sideways, tandem, that close. So I think that's my addiction. I fully admit that I'm addicted to it.
Mm-hmm. I think I was just thinking about it just now because I didn't pre-think about any of this stuff. We're kind of at the forefront of a lot of drifting nowadays, and it's kind of fun to be that way, and we're still in rapid learning phases. It's such a difficult thing to do, whether it be the mechanical aspect of it, trying to figure out sponsorship stuff so you can keep going since we refuse to have real jobs, the driving aspect, all these different things put together. Oh, look at that. That looks cool. My wheel like that. Anyways, it's such a difficult thing. It keeps us entertained.
Yeah, and I think too, like on that point, it is a challenge. And so, a lot of people will talk trash online and everyone's an e-drifter. And then when you get to the events, typically the vibe is really, really chill and everyone's got a mutual respect for each other because they know what it took to get their car prepped, get the time off work, get enough money to put everything together, get to the event, whether it be truck and trailer or streetcar or whatever, and then actually get out on track and drive. You know, the driving part is really the easy part. Is all the prep work and all the logistics to get there and get it done and actually get your car with your helmet on track, running and driving, ready to go. That's the hardest part, I think. So when you have, you know, other drivers that you're, you know, build a lot of camaraderie with on the track, I think that's a big part of it too.
So I ask difficult questions and I don't pull punches, and some people think it's rude, but like, seriously though, why don't you quit? This is difficult. You could go have a career.
Yeah.
You could do, for the amount of effort we put into this, you could go to medical school or you go be a lawyer, especially for the price and everything. You could go do so many more traditionally better things with your life that would make your parents more excited, you know, things like that, more responsible. You could go have a wife and a normal life and a house and all these things. Why do you keep doing this, man?
This literally is what I want to do. I mean, I could do any of those things.
But you would just spend the money on racing.
Yeah, or drifting or like doing something like that. I mean, I definitely am an adrenaline junkie, but I think the drifting part is what I have a lot of passion for, obviously, and I just want to do that. That's what I have the most fun doing. And I think, you know, going back a couple years, I remember you asking me like, what's your 5-year plan? And what you know, you interviewed me before. And I remember just saying, I just want to have fun. I just want to keep enjoying life. And yeah, there's a lot of like not enjoyable moments. Are you zooming in on my hair?
How'd you know that? I'm too obvious with what I do. Keep going.
Yeah, there's just a lot of non-enjoyable moments that lead up to the part where you're on track. But then when you're on track, it's such a fun and exciting experience that it makes up for all the bad, you know, and all the money you spent. And I just love it. I just want to keep doing it forever.
There's not a lot of people such as yourself that have fully immersed themselves and drifting to the point where it is their job. How do you do it? Like, a lot of people want to do it.
Yeah.
Would you suggest it? I keep telling people they should have a normal life and just use the money that they make in a normal job to enjoy their drifting and not be so beholden to it.
It depends on your personality and like what you're good at. For me, the way I do it is I do everything I can that's involved in motorsports to where I don't have to get a real job. And what I mean is I have multiple racing schools that I instruct at. Rally Ready, I teach rally racing. I teach at Texas Drift Academy. I teach at COTA for road racing. And so that's one part of it. I do commercial work whenever I can. And we've chatted about this. I don't want to beat a dead horse. I've, do anything I can. Fabrication for other teams, mechanical work if I have to. I just did a big project with my buddy Austin. We built his entire car and did a full body work and everything upgraded for his, and it was awesome, and that was a paying job. So anything I can do to not have to get a real job where I wouldn't allow weekends off is what I'm going to continue to do as long as I can, until I'm physically unable, I think. And that's how I do it. I think for other people, it depends on what you're able to do and what you're, mentally capable of doing, because it's very taxing to do all of the things to get to the event and get your car ready. That's why we see, plenty of people burn out and get distracted or go into easier forms of motorsports or less effort, maybe is a better way to put that. So like, road racing, just for an example, if you just have a weekend warrior kind of car that needs maybe tires every 4 or 5 track days, you need to flush your brakes maybe every couple of track days, and then you just kind of do a nut and bolt and you're good. Like, that's so much easier than prepping and getting a drift car ready for a drift event and then thrashing on it all weekend and then fixing all the crap that you broke. So it depends on the personality.
All right, I want to take the conversation in a different direction. What engine should a person put in their car? What is your experience with it as for drifting?
Yeah, my favorite's 2J. It's the most reliable. It's the best dollar per horsepower. So V8s are
I don't believe you, but
terrible,
keep going.
But anyway, so the reason I hate V8s, just so everyone knows, is because they sound like shit most of the time. Some of them don't. A great example is like Blake Olson in Pro 2. His V8 sounds incredible.
This car sounds
this car sounds terrible, but that's all right. If it doesn't sound like a truck, then I like it more. But V8s for Pro-Am drivers make them much lazier drivers because they're much easier to drive. Now, there's a flip side of that, and I can see you're twitching your eyes here behind me.
No, it's because I have rocks in my eyes from the event we just finished from Tandem from you.
Yeah.
Dirt dropping in front of me.
I didn't do that.
Yes, you did.
I did not.
Actually, yeah, I think you did.
Well, I know that your mentality is like you want people to drive as much as they can and just have fun and not worry about maintaining the car, working on the car, doing any of that. I get that, and I am on board with that. But I think that if you have that much torque and that little grip, it's much easier to drive, and that's when you hear the drivers lug around at 2,500 to 3,000 RPM, barely using any throttle, maintaining drift, yeah, but it's lame, it's not exciting. For me,
It allows them to get really good at tandem fast, though.
not always though. It makes them super terrible lead drivers.
Okay, I get your point on that,
Okay,
but why would
yeah.
you choose it? That's the power band and all those things.
Yeah.
Talk about the merits of like, it's just, why do you choose that motor when you could have done a smaller motor? If
Yeah.
you were to say all those things could be used against you when someone's like, oh, SR's better. Why do you have to do a big, heavy 2J? Nakamura doesn't have to do that. You cheated and you're lazier because you did that.
It's a big excitement factor.
Here comes a helicopter. We're still going.
Yeah, SRs don't sound very good ever, and 2Js almost always sound good. You almost cannot screw up a turbo 2J at all. And 1J too, they all sound incredible. Even with a China manifold and a terrible turbo and awful exhaust, doesn't even matter. They almost always sound great. So that's one thing, and that's an excitement factor. So people are like, oh, who cares what it sounds like? Well, drifting has to be exciting. It's a visual sport. It's a emotional sport. And for me personally, that's what I want. I want to feel an emotion. I want to be excited when I'm hearing, watching, or doing drifting. So for me, that's a big part of it. And then the power band I like a lot because a turbo car requires you to drive on throttle, committed, and confident. And so for that, to translate to what you see on track is really cool. When you see a car snap and really lay on the gas and you hear it revving out and you hear the limiter and stuff like that.
That's not possible with a V8?
It's not as common. It is possible, absolutely. And there are a lot of drivers that drive a V8 fantastic, and I love them. But it's not as common because it's much easier to drive.
A lot of people would just say that the 4 cylinders and 6 cylinders have terrible power bands and they have to be driven that way because they suck. And that the V8s have such great power bands, you don't need to do that.
This is the first year in Formula D, which we can all probably agree that the top level of drifting in the world has had a V8 on the podium in the past 3 years. They've all been 2Js.
That's because it was all James Dean.
Well, there you go.
So you're saying James Dean would not do well in a V8?
No, James Dean's an incredible driver. He could do anything with any car, I'm sure. But that's just proof that, a 2J can be reliable, can be exciting, and can be driven with the best of the best on the best stage on earth.
Teach me something.
Teach you something?
Teach me something.
About what?
I don't know.
Kind of weird
about
on the
life.
spot.
Teach me.
2 hands on the wheel. How about that?
Yeah? Oh, damn it. You caught me. That's something I do. I do one-handed so badly.
Yeah.
Why 2 hands on the wheel?
Well, each hand accounts for 50% of your steering control. So if you take a hand off, you lost half of your steering abilities or control.
What if I'm
that's one.
better than you and I only need 1 on the wheel?
So you personally have driven so long that you have gotten accustomed to driving. You've driven a bunch of stuff, terrible cars, great cars, everything in between. You can drive fine with 1 hand. I have no issues with you driving with 1 hand. What I have an issue with is you putting on your channel a bunch of great driving videos with 1 hand and your other hand floating off in space doing whatever the hell it's doing.
I've been trying not to do that.
And then a bunch of people who want to get into drifting watching that and being like, dang, I guess that's how you do it.
It's not.
And then doing that. And then I'm like, no, that's not how you do it.
Yeah.
Aaron does it that way. That's fine. But that is not the correct way to learn how to drive.
All right, teach me something else.
Okay. Yeah, I don't even know what else. Let's see. What, like about on cars or what are you talking about?
Doesn't matter. Just teach me a lesson. Teach me something.
Teach you a lesson. Jeez.
What is this helicopter doing to us? Keep
I
going.
can teach you a lesson we just did, which was double up with your buddies, split fuel, did a 2-car trailer, split driving responsibilities to the event, and have a way better time than going by yourself. And you experienced that with me just this last weekend. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, we had a great time. It was so different.
Yeah.
So I always go to events and I'm typically the host. So the events are stressful. I don't have time to work on my car. Just so many things like that. And I rode with Fielding in his 2 car. We put both cars in there. They were so close. My car actually rubbed on the back door. So I need to repaint that and it knocked the bumper off. And you should be aware, Fielding, there's at least 2 self-tappers that are missing inside your trailer.
Great.
Fielding hates that. Stand back over in front of the car.
Yeah, that's another thing I could
So
teach
no,
you.
we had a fantastic time. We paired up. We had to tandem with some other people, but for the most part, we just tandem with each other. We were hauling butt. We had a great time. We were not really Fielding went in tandem with somebody else, and they dented his door.
Yeah,
but I was a
not happy
gentleman,
about that.
and I did not dent his door at all.
Yeah.
And we were full on it, like top of third. Could have been in fourth.
Yeah, we were flying.
But third was enough.
Fully
It's
committed though, like
T56.
flat the entire. Every transition for me was a clutch kick transition on gas. Very few braking zones.
That's because your car doesn't have a good power band. You had to clutch kick.
No, it was.
I just got on and off.
No, I did that on purpose to get it to snap. I could do the roll on and off thing, but to get the car to snap over that blind crest and throw a fireball at the same time, a clutch kick was needed.
Congratulations on your win.
Thank you very much.
Boop.
That was fun. Congrats on the podium as well. You got pulled in third.
That's the first loser.
The second loser?
Second loser?
Yeah, you're on the podium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what else to talk about?
I think something important for people to know is like, you know, when you ask like, why would you do this, or who should do this, or should people do this? You have to remember that like your sanity and your own mental state is important, most important probably than anything. So for me personally, I am in a very properly positioned, if that's a good way to say it, which it's not. I've modeled my career. How the hell am I going to say this? You're going to have to cut this stuff.
No, keep going.
Yeah.
You
Basically,
modeled your career
I put myself
after.
in a position where I am very happy with how things are going with my sponsorships, with my responsibilities, with my car, with my lifestyle, my shop, and that sort of stuff. And it's taken a lot of effort and kind of careful planning, but I don't really want to grow to the sense where sponsors are going to be requiring so much of me that it takes away the fun. So for me, this is all about fun. This is all about getting the driving experience, driving with your friends, having the best time ever, and driving as much as you can, really, and as many different cool venues as possible. That's why Drift Week is amazing. But for me personally, you know, I don't want to have a sponsor pay me so much that they own me. And they're like, you have to be at this event on this date, on this time. If you don't show up, then, you know, we charge you $10,000. If you show up and your motor blows, you got to have a spare because you have to put on a show for a crowd of this many people and all that.
So you're
stuff.
saying you never want to be successful?
No, I wouldn't actually attribute that to just being successful. You know, some people would say that, yeah, but that to me seems miserable. Like, I don't want to be miserable. And that's my big, the takeaway of what I'm trying to say here is that, like, I'm in a position where I've got lots of friends. I've got enough sponsorship to kind of keep the ball rolling, more or less. I mean, it doesn't pay for everything. I certainly have to work a lot hard all the time and make money to do it. But I have tire support from Kenda. I have suspension support from SPL and BC Racing. I have, you know, more or less what I need to have to get my car, my personal car, to the events that I like to drive, which are grassroots events, and go and have a good time, connect with some fans if I do ride-alongs or whatever to help kind of offset the costs. But I'm not, you know, being just super stressed out and taking all the fun out of it and just going and doing 10 or 20 laps at Formula D event and having all the fun sapped out of it. All of it's such high stress competition. I have to have a team of 10 people or 5 people to run the whole thing. Like, that seems to me like so much more work than fun, and that's what I don't want to do.
All right. I need a clickbait title. And you have 2 choices.
Okay.
You can come up with a clickbait title like thing for me right now and we'll talk about that subject, or we'll use the one that you just did and I'll be like, why does Fielding not want to be successful and want to be a loser? Do you want that title or do you want to pick up a new title?
That might be that's probably more of a clickbaity title, but I think I'd like to address the one that I made when I was like, Adam LZ just crashed the first FD event, and how people roasted me at the stake, and I'm like, you guys, it was clickbait, like, chill. And Adam and I are friends, and in the description it even said like Adam was killing it all weekend. You know, he
no one reads the description. They just read the title.
So there you go.
And you got yelled at for it.
I did by a lot of his
Did you learn your
Adam,
lesson?
Adam was fine with it. So there.
Adam told you he was fine with it.
I think he was. I mean, we are friends, so like, yeah. Anyway, let's talk about that. How about that? What would you do in that situation?
In what situation? I would be a classy individual and not use clickbait on somebody, especially a friend of mine.
You make clickbait titles every title.
No, they're always covered inside the topic.
Yeah.
I never do something that's not included inside the topic.
Yeah. Mine was the same.
No, he didn't wreck.
He went off track and like broke something.
That's not wrecking.
I agree, but like, yeah. I think it did say Adam LZ crashed in Pro 1 or something.
He didn't crash.
Anyway, it didn't matter. I changed that within
did matter.
3 hours, and people still lost their mind. So there you go.
What else? Pick a subject, or I'm going to pick something you don't want.
Okay. we can talk about what it is to be successful in drifting. So like you said that I don't want to be successful. Well, I think I'm successful enough. I mean, my car is in a video game. It's in Torque Drift. You guys can download it, and I get $1 for every download. That's kind of
Wait,
cool.
is that
It's
a video?
a mobile drifting
Oh,
game.
a mobile game.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah. It's
oh.
what are you talking about? That's amazing. You know how
I
many?
mean, it's okay.
We just watched a podcast. There are more cell phones sold in 3 months than there are in entire year of game consoles. So
Have you ever sat down and played 20 hours of like a mobile game?
I don't play video games, so no. I mean, yeah, I've totally played Torque Drifts for 20
No
hours.
one does
straight.
that. Unless it's
Lots
like
of people
Farmville
do.
or something.
Lots of people play mobile games, all millions and millions.
How
of
much
people.
money have you made off this game?
I haven't got my first check yet, so I don't know.
So 0.
0, yes, correct.
Oh.
But yeah, it's that's one part of the business. I mean, getting free tires is another one. That's awesome, and something that took years and years.
Do you
and I
eat
feel
tires?
Like, no, but I feel like that's a measurement of success for someone who burns that as
Yeah,
many
no,
tires
I
as
agree.
we do. Something like that.
Doesn't feed your children though.
I don't have any of those.
No. What else?
All right, hit me with one of your tough subjects that I'm not gonna like. Let's see it.
I didn't actually have one.
Oh.
I was just threatening.
Yeah. Put me on the spot.
Yeah, I can come up with one pretty quickly though. How do you think, I have nothing in my head. How do you think drifting is going to be in the next few years for you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that this is going to continue, or do you think you'll blow motors, go broke, have like a total accident that knocks the car out and you're unprepared without savings to do anything about it with sponsor commitments of some kind,
Yeah.
and you struggle? What if you break your arm? What if you break your leg? You have no health insurance. What do you don't have like any backup plan? Do you just have a family that'll help out if you need it kind of thing, and you don't have to worry about that? Because I don't have a family that can really do that for me, and I have to really worry about these things, and it's a bit troubling sometimes.
Well, I don't want you to paint the wrong picture like my family's just going to pick up the slack. I mean,
No, it's not about that. It's about having a loving family that can come to your rescue, and it's a safety net so you don't have to. It's not like they're going to pay for Formula D for you,
Right.
but they would pay a hospital bill. They would help you go get your
Probably.
car out of like impound if something happened on Drift Week.
they would not do that.
No?
No,
Oh.
not at all.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Okay. If you
Not-
were
like,
sick
it
or
was
if you got in a wreck,
health-related, they would probably do what they needed to, what they could afford to do.
They already have this much invested in you keeping you alive this long.
know, right?
They might as well put
Yeah.
some more in it.
So that is actually a very important thing to think about, and I do think about that. If I'm injured to the point where I would have to stop drifting or shift into another role, I do think about that often, and I try and take whatever safety measures I can. But there's obviously no way to control all that. I could get hit on the street.
We don't take safety
driving
measures.
I do. I mean, I started to I don't know, do more safety stuff on my car. Everything is updated correctly. I wear the Hans that I got from Hyperdrive.
Oh, you wear a full Hans and drift?
I only wear it in competition at the higher speed tracks, but at TMS I do wear it. I didn't wear it at MSR, but I'm probably.
Did you
going
wear it at
to.
Hallett? Because we were boogieing.
I didn't. I
Yeah,
didn't
that
bring
was the
it.
fastest we've driven in a while.
A little while, yeah. But I mean, I didn't even think about it. I didn't know how fast
Okay,
Hallett was.
so you just don't have any plan. You just
Yeah,
you
I
think
don't-
about it, but you don't have a plan. You didn't
think
wear your
about
Hans
it.
device, even though you should, even
Yeah.
though you just said you would.
Yeah.
All right, let's go somewhere. He has no plan.
I don't have a plan. I got no health insurance or plan, so don't.
That
tell
makes
Trump
sense. Don't do anything bad.
Or Biden, yeah.
Do you have any ideas? Like, are you going to roll the S14 forever? Is that your one thing that's going to go forever? Do you feel any pressure to get into a more modern chassis or do something like that to be more marketable? All the Formula D guys are constantly talking about oh, I need to be in a chassis that's less than 10 years old. I need to do this or that.
No,
Does that matter?
That's part of what I was talking about my sponsorship obligations and responsibilities are such that they like me in the car, especially after Hyperdrive. I love the car, and I think the fan base is actually more excited about my car because it's one, relatable. People can see themselves owning that kind of car. Like you can buy an S14 and put a couple parts on it or whatever and have a similar looking car, case in point. Yeah, and so it doesn't have to be some ridiculous, extravagant $250,000, brand new 2020 BMW build like so many pro drifters are doing across the world. That's kind of part of my appeal, I think. Is that
They're all chasing the same
relatable.
game.
They are.
You're doing something else.
Yeah, I'm doing a completely different avenue, completely different. So I think people like my car because I've stuck with it. They have an emotional attachment, at least the ones that know me from Hyperdrive, because when they saw that car on that show, they felt something, and then now when they see it, they're like, holy shit, and they get those same kind of emotions to come back and flood their body, and then they're like all about it. So I really love to connect with fans when I do the ride along thing, because they get to do that. And I always tell them, I'm like, this is the car from Hyperdrive. It's not a clone. It's not like a backup.
You're like, I can't afford a clone.
Yeah, I can't build another one. So like, this is the car. You're literally sitting in the passenger seat of the car that you know from the show, and people are just ecstatic about that. And so I think that's really cool that that they do that. So I'm going to keep that car forever. I'm maybe not going to drive it as hard as I do or as much as I do forever, because I have the Z, and who knows, eventually maybe someone will sponsor me a car, or maybe I'll win the lottery and get to go build an Aston Martin drift car like I've always wanted to, or something crazy like
Gross.
that. Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Okay.
All right. So my last questions are: you took your S14 on Hyperdrive. Tell me the hardest part about driving that car. Not Hyperdrive, Drift Week. Hyperdrive's last year. Drift Week's this year.
Yeah, the Drift Week 2020. What's up?
You drifted your car all through Drift Week. Tell me the thought process real quick about driving a car that's so aggressive, living through it on the street, dealing with a real race car on the street.
So it's definitely sucks, first and foremost. A comfortable seat is a good idea. A quality passenger, someone that can...
When you said comfortable seat, you mean like a reclinable?
Doesn't have to be reclinable, but it has to have more padding than your traditional fiberglass bucket seat. So for me, I put a Bride reclinable. It doesn't recline because I have a roll cage, but it's got a much more cushion. It's got nice soft bolstering, and the shoulders aren't quite as constricting. It's not a halo seat or anything like that. So that was a really nice upgrade that I'm glad I did. A good passenger that can help you with navigation duties, and plug your phone in and do all the little things that you can normally do in your daily when you're just driving with one hand and doing whatever. In a race car, especially mine on the with the drift alignment and everything, the road is constantly pulling the car around, and you have to really hang on to it. So that's a pro tip you could do there, is have a good passenger that's not annoying, that can help out, and try and prep your car as best you can for reliability. So do a full-on everything, check out any kind of couplers or hoses that looked cracked or worn or old, just replace them. You might as well. Check and change all your fluids, use quality fluids. I use Redline oil, sponsor plug, and all my stuff, and it's all pretty much the best you can get. I think it's the best on the market, especially the shockproof stuff for like the diff and the trans.
Because you've tested it all yourself?
Because I have broken other stuff, and then when I started using the Redline shockproof, I've had no more failures, no more issues. And
cool.
The ones that I have, like any kind of small issue, are minor. So I think that's a huge upgrade, and something that everyone should do, really, and especially in a drift car. And then try and put together more funding than you may think. So Drift Week is going to cost you $10,000. I don't care who you are. Harrison says he did it for half that.
No, he said they did it for $3,000.
They did
without the entry fee.
They didn't, and he also started with a $40,000 Corvette, and they only drove like 25 laps per event or per track day. So I was out there doing 100 laps per track day, and burning up way more tires, way more fuel, way more everything, more wear and tear on a more gnarly car.
Was it worth it?
Yeah, for me it was worth it, because that's what I want to get out of Drift Week, is the driving experience. That's the fun part for me. For some other people, it might be the media. Like for Adam, he might go out and just want to tandem with Colette, which he did in a couple tracks. They just do 20, 30 minutes of driving, get all the footage they want, and then pack it up or go chill or whatever. Other people, like the Hoonigans, they consume tires at such an alarming rate, because they weren't on Kendas, that they were only able to do like 4, 5, 6 laps in a row, maybe less. I think Chair Slayer did like 2 or 3, 2.5.
This car's a monster.
Yeah, it was a monster. It sounded wild and put up a lot of smoke for sure. But for me, again, the driving experience is what I want to get out of it. So, depending on what you want at home, that would be what I would do. Try and build your car to like be reliable, and don't be a consumable whore. Like, it needs to kind of be chill on some of those things. You don't need a 1,000 horsepower Corvette like some of the people brought on Drift Week. You just need 400 horsepower and reliable, and you're good to go.
Okay. Yeah. How many tires did you go through on Drift Week?
I think I calculated 18 tires total. I was running the 285s.
That is not many at all.
Yeah, not very many at all. I was running the 285s. We went to a couple tracks that had amazing tire life. So like Speed Sports, I went through 1 pair. NOLA, I went through 2 pair out of 2 days of driving, which we did so many laps, literally probably 150 to 200 laps total. I went through 2.5 pair. I had the scrubs, went for the next track. Mid Pond, I maybe went through 4 tires. I mean, it was not that many. Same with Musselman, very, very good tire wear there. I mean, it was great. Like, not many tires. 18, I think is right. I went through 4 fronts.
Dang.
Yeah.
All right. How much fuel?
Yeah. I didn't calculate fuel, but my car, depending on what boost level, it really can drink the fuel quickly. Luckily, it's pumped, so you can just drive to the station and fill up. But I mean, I probably went through 2 10 or 12 gallon tanks per track day, so you figure 20 to 25 gallons per event. It was
And we did what,
significant
8
amount
days
fuel.
of driving?
Yeah.
So what is that?
200 gallons.
70. Oh yeah, almost 200. And then plus the fuel
Plus
on the
the-
street.
yep.
How much was that, do you think?
I'd have to go back and look. I probably spent in the neighborhood of $500 to $600 in fuel on the street, something like that.
You think you're lying to yourself and it was way more?
No, I
Because
think
200.
that's probably-
Oh, on the street.
On the street,
Okay.
yeah, on the
Okay.
street.
I was gonna say because that would be way more.
Yeah,
So you probably went through like 400 or 500 gallons of fuel at least.
Yeah, I think so. It was about, I got 15 miles to the gallon, 15.6 miles to the gallon, if I remember right. I did, it was a 9 to 10 usable gallons in my fuel system. So I'd have to fill up about every 2 hours, and I don't have a fuel gauge, so that was not
Did you run
fun.
out?
I ran out once, yep. Once on track, I ran out. You saw Mesker pushing me. He did that little KBD body kit commercial when he was shoving me out off the track.
Thank you, KBD.
Yeah, thank you. And then on the street, I ran out one time.
Cool.
So that sucked. But luckily, the trailer was nearby, and so they were able to save me.
Awesome.
5 gallon. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Take like 2 gallon fuel jug in the back of your car. If you have a trunk, put it in there. And
Unless you have a gas gauge and you don't worry about it.
Or
He has
that.
a fuel cell.
Yeah,
What
I
an
don't have
idiot
that.
for Drift Week. Okay.
yeah, that's all right.
I think we're done. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, I think, thanks to all the sponsors. Thanks to you for putting in all the effort. It's a shitload of work. You
Boom.
guys thank him if you came on Drift Week, and if you want to go on the next one, just know that, like, you're about to go to, the next
Yep.
Drift Week spots. And
I'm about to head up to the Pacific Northwest to research Drift Week 3,
Yeah.
see all the locations. I have like 7 tracks to go visit in the region. I don't really have enough time because I have to make it out to NOLA for end of year bash, Lone Star Bash, which is,
the 11th.
is it the 11th,
Yep.
12th and 13th or something, or
It's
9th,
just 11,
10th?
12.
Okay, you can look that up. Go to nodrift.com, that's NODRFT.com, or LoneStarDrift.com, and look at our event pages and see the dates for that. I should know that, but it's coming up really
Pretty sure it's
soon.
11, 12. I'll be there too.
That's 3 days.
Is it 3 days?
Yeah, there's a Friday too.
Oh.
Anyways, look it up. And thank you so much to all the sponsors that help out. Thank you very much to BC Racing Coilovers for supporting Drift Week. We couldn't do it without BC Racing Coilovers. Couldn't do it without ECU Master. Thank you so much to ECU Master. Go check out. They just had a Black Friday sale. Go check out all their stuff. Maybe they have a Cyber Monday sale.
Yeah, it's
But-
extended the whole way.
That might be tomorrow, yeah, which is when I'll release this. It's just tomorrow, so make sure to go check them out. Thank you to Y-Plate Imports. I'm going to go hang out with Trenton, who is the owner of Y-Plate Imports, who is a supporter of Drift Week 2 and maybe Drift Week 3 up in the Pacific Northwest. Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
I need to go buy my ticket. I haven't bought my ticket yet. So, peace.
The BC's on my car. I had the same coilovers for Drift Week 1, all of Lone Star Drift 2020, and Drift Week 2.
I have their new
All of them.
digressive
Yeah,
series
mine were the digressive
on
too.
mine.
And they lasted perfectly. They're still good.
Oh, let's see if I can show them. It's too dark. Oh,
So just a testament to that. I mean, it's a quality product. They drive
look at
great.
that beautiful soft light outside.
I can't
Couldn't-
see it through your camera.
Yeah.
It looks just like hazy.
No, it's beautiful looking.
Oh, it looks way better on
Okay.
camera.
Anyways, we're all done. Thank you so much. Sorry if we rambled. Bye.
Thanks, guys.